Let's talk more about the debate from last night. CTV political commentator Scott Reid is joining us. And Scott, all we're going to do this morning is talk about the debate, nothing else. No, we're not talking federal, we're not talking municipal, we're not talking Trump. We are talking about that debate last night. So what were your overall impressions?
Well, I'll pick up on what you just said, not talking Trump. I mean, if you're Doug Ford, you have been successful during this campaign, riding to an almost 50% level of popular vote, according to the polls, because you've been able to talk about Trump and tariffs, and because you were so clearly seen as the person best poised to lead that issue. And last night, he was under fire from all sides. Didn't get as much of a chance to talk about Trump, talk about tariffs, and in particular, other party leaders are really coming at him over health care. And I think there's a shot of this, right?
Yeah, let's listen in right here.
Driving a tractor and driving a combine.
Primary care.
Yeah. Within 4 years, David, is the answer.
First job, babysitting, but I'll go to the second job.
Okay, well, we're going to try to get to that clip later, Scott. So turning to... All right, let's play the clip right now.
What I will tell you, there's a reason why Dr. Jane Philpott, a liberal minister, comes to our team. It's very simple because she sees the vision. She sees that we're building healthcare. She sees that, again, backlog surgeries. You know something? We have less backlog surgeries per capita than anyone in the entire country.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, it's just, you could see there, I mean, it's just indicative of, the premier had a good debate, in my view. He never really got flustered. He never got knocked entirely off of his message track, but he was forced to talk about the issues that he doesn't want to campaign on time and time again. So healthcare led the debate. That set up nicely for the opposition leaders. And just picking up on what we saw, for Bonnie Crombie, who, at minimum wants to take her party back to second place, be leader of the opposition, you can see, in my view, she was running really hot throughout a bunch of the debate. Angry, sharp exchanges. But on the other hand, maybe they punched through. And we see here in this clip where she really takes the fight to the premier again on healthcare.
We're also going to fix the problem of price gouging by all of these grocery CEOs with a consumer watchdog. It's about time we did that. And one thing I can tell you is you're going to get about a check for about $120 for a family of 4 back every month. And let me tell you, I am not going to be giving a $200 check to Galen Weston.
All right, so that was the Marit Stiles clip. Unfortunately, Scott, we got a little mixed up here.
There's some
Bonnie Crombie talking about healthcare. Yeah. Look, let's just run with it. Here's my take on the debate overall. For Doug Ford, he didn't get to talk about Trump and tariffs, which has been his strong suit, and he was under fire on healthcare. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not convinced anything happened in this debate, which happened on Family Day at 6:30 p.m. after a snowstorm and at the same time as a plane crash at Pearson, which dominated all the news. So I'm not persuaded that this has actually changed the trajectory of the campaign for Doug Ford. But the secondary, the quiet fight between Marit Stiles and Bonnie Crombie as to who will emerge as opposition leader, I think that is something that could be effective in the days to come as we feel the fallout of this debate. And in particular, Bonnie Crombie getting clips out on healthcare. Marit Stiles, I think, having a much more composed and appealing performance, but maybe not having as much meme work, reels and clips to work with. So that, to me, is going to be the fight to watch these next 3-4 days. I'd be shocked if we find polls that show us that Doug Ford has suddenly lost 10% and is in jeopardy of losing government. But I'd be equally shocked if we don't see some consolidation around either Bonnie Crombie or Marit Stiles as people decide who they like best as their competitor and opponent to Ford.
Scott, is there any big event coming up beyond Election Day in 9 days that could really shift things, or are we just going to see sort of standard campaigning now? I guess there'll be different takes. Doug Ford will take one angle, Marit Stiles, Bonnie Crombie, and Mike Schreiner will take a different tact, I suppose.
The Ford campaign would remind you that they're going to Washington again. I think they hope that that will allow them to put that issue of Trump and tariffs right back into the center of people's minds as they go to vote. But the truthful answer to your question is probably nothing organic is ahead of us. I think one of the critical issues is going to be how effective are the campaigns in their closing days in terms of advertising. It's so difficult to penetrate. I mean, we talked about this debate happening at 6:30 on a crowded day on a holiday. So how do you get your message through to people? How do you persuade, if you're Bonnie Crombie or Marit Stiles, and you're looking at that relatively large pool of voters who could switch between those two parties? How do you connect with them? How do you convince them? My guess is the difference maker is going to be the effectiveness of their campaigns advertising, how sharp that appeal is, and how much it actually connects with voters. So that's what I'll be watching for. Who has really good, really heavy creative over the course of these next few days? Who's saved enough money? Nick, Jen, who saved enough money to run ads as you close this thing out?
Yeah, and you know, we heard from Premier Ford yesterday sticking to his messaging on the economy and linking everything back to it. So that's going to be pretty hard to crack. All right, CTV's political commentator Scott Reid, thanks for joining us and for your analysis. Have fun shoveling, Scott. Take care.
You bet. I'm headed up there now.
Okay.